So I quit my 9 to 5 job, a stable job, to start selling final expense life insurance full time. I never knew that I could make 6 figures doing this, and I want to share with you guys in this video what I learned and how you can make money selling life insurance in 2025. Now, my first year, I did over $500,000 in final expense sales. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars of mistakes, but I did earn over $176,000 in pure profit my first year as a life insurance agent. Now, before then, before I got started selling life insurance, I owned a lawn care business, and then I sold that to a tree removal service, and I was working as a high-ticket tree removal salesman. And in this time, I was driving down the road. I listened to a podcast about how you can make all this money selling final expense and life insurance, and I had no idea what I was getting into. But I want to share with you my story of how I got started, the mistakes that I made, the lessons that I learned, and ultimately the opportunity that is available if you can learn how to sell over the phone. Okay, so first thing is, how did I get started in this industry? So after being a young 18, 19-year-old, I had a lawn care business, dropped out of college, and I was doing well, and I was like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. So I passed my company over to a tree removal business, and I was just finding myself selling high-ticket tree removal. So every day, I would basically get in the car, have leads, go to their door, knock on the door, the client would come out, and I would look at trees, give them estimates, and I'd ultimately make sales. And I had a really good position. I was earning $7,000-$8,000 every single month on average as a a high ticket tree removal sales guy, and some months doing well over 6 figures in my early 20s. And I heard this ad on the radio, on a podcast, this, I guess, influencer who's like, if you want to make $300,000, here is the industry that's going to change your life. And by the grace of God, I had no idea what life insurance was, but I actually had my life insurance license because I had one internship with a company called Northwestern Mutual. And as I was listening to this podcast and I was diving deeper and I was listening, and I was like, okay, maybe I should get into this, but I'm not sure. I have a really good stable job. I kept on finding myself watching all these YouTube videos, and all the YouTube videos only talked about the glamorous side of the industry. These people are coming on, selling all this money, making all this money. I see the Lamborghinis. I'm like, man, maybe I could give up driving around, working in the sun, being basically a construction worker, doing high ticket tree removal, operating. It was just a lot going on. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and possibly take on becoming an insurance agent. So I had to have this, this realization. So I went and I checked. I had my insurance license. It was still active by a few months. I said, I think this is God telling me you have to do this. So sure enough, what I did is I got started. I started doing 2 jobs. So if you're thinking, should you get into insurance right now? You're not really sure. Well, I wanted to test this out. So every single day I'd work typically 9 to 5, 9 to 6, and then from 6 to 7 and 8, I would start showing up to the trainings. I would get some leads, and I was just figuring it out, right? But I didn't really know what I was doing. So the first 14, 15 days, I didn't make my first sale. I'm spending a few $100s every single day on leads. People around me are making money, and there's this one girl specifically who's like crushing it. I'm like, if she can do this, anyone can do it. Come to find out, this girl was a complete lie and a fraudster. Come to find out 6 months ago, but she sharing these fake stories gave me a lot of hope, and I was like, man, what am I doing here? So eventually, through the daily of calling, the making mistakes, going 14 days without making a sale, and I was like, man, I really really love this. I can come home, I can get on my computer, I have leads, and I can get on my cell phone, I can call people, push through objections, and try to make a sale. So every single day, Monday through Sunday, I would wake up, go to work, come home, and sell. And on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, I had the time to invest fully into this business. So what did I do? I went full-time and, just on the weekends doing this business. And sure enough, it eventually started to click, and I made a lot of mistakes that I want to share with you guys that a lot of life insurance agents don't talk about, that you have to go through, okay? So what happened was I was starting to make some sales. I was overspending on leads. I was selling guaranteed issue business, and then I started getting some chargebacks. But everyone around me in this life insurance game always had this there was always, you only heard about the good stuff. You only heard about the people making the money. You only heard about the people around you. But I was like, wait, why is no one talking about chargeback? So I got my first chargeback. I remember this story very clearly. It's like the 15th day. I come from work. I buy these new leads. What I was doing, I was using the in-house MLM company's leads. These I don't want to say LC. They end with an LC lead, okay? And I was like, these leads are garbage. Like, I'm getting people on the phone, but they have no idea what I'm calling about. I'm going to try this new lead vendor. So I get this new lead vendor. I load up like $250. And within, first few calls, I sell a his and hers policy. And in that moment was the decision. This convinced me that it's time to leave my 9 to 5 to sell life insurance, because I didn't know about the shady stuff yet about the business. I didn't know about the lies. So I sell this policy, and then I sell the wife a policy. It's like $96 a month, and I sell the husband like $120 per month. And I post that, and I show my manager at the time. He's like, "Hey man, you just made like $3,000 in commissions." I'm like, "Really?" After a phone call. So I run into my brother's room. We just purchased a house. I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to pay off this house. I'm going to change our lives. I'm going all in on life insurance." And from that moment, I was like just so addicted and hooked that you can get on the phone, call someone, and then sell them a product and make a few $1,000s. Now, come to find out, those clients never even made their first payments. So I actually got paid from the insurance company. I saw the $3,000 in my bank account. I was like, oh my gosh, I just struck gold, right? But come to find out, they didn't make their payments. And I used to call them. It was like, her name was like Betty or something. I was like, "Miss Betty, you have to make your payment." She's like, "I can't have the money. I don't have the money." And I was like, "What do you mean you don't have the money? Like, you just bought something. You don't have the money?" And I had to owe that money back to the insurance company. But I was already so in deep. So before I made the decision, I was like, I need to get more sales under my belt. I need to prove this theory out. So what I would do is that I would have my leads on while I was working the 9 to 5 job. And when leads would come in on real time, I was driving a lot. I was driving, I was doing 200 miles a day, just going in and out of doing quotes. And as I was driving, my leads would be on my phone, and I'd have my laptop too, and I'd have a hotspot. So when leads would come in, I'd see a new lead comes in, I'd be in a community, and I'd pull over. I'd pull over on the side of the road, and I would call them within 1 minute of the lead coming in, and I would close them on the side of the road. So I was doing these estimates, and I was closing people. And that was the moment that I decided to leave my 9 to 5 job, is that I could get leads. I had a lead source. I had the sales skill because I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps every single day. And then I started to start producing at a high level. And my second full month of, I guess part-time month doing this, I did like $40,000 in sales. Now here's the kicker. I didn't make $40,000. I don't think I even made $10,000 because of all the chargebacks, all the bad business. I was spending hundreds of dollars every single day on leads. I had bad systems. I didn't know what I was doing. And in this time, I was like, man, this is going to change my life. And I had to make a decision. My mentor at the time, who I sold the business to, his name was Mike. And I was like, I'm going to do this full time. Okay, my goal is to be an entrepreneur. Okay, my goal throughout being a little kid, I owned a little business, and it was to be an entrepreneur, right? And if you want to sell final expense life insurance, you can be an entrepreneur. There's few companies out there, our company, my company right now, Legacy Family Life. I have an agency where we'll give you the systems, the tools, and resources, but I was signing up for being a business owner, basically. But I didn't know that. I thought for the longest time, even though I was in it for like about 2 months, everyone's just basically saying, you're just in a sales position. You just buy leads and you sell deals. But no, I realized that as I started to make more sales, that I now had to operate a business, and I was kind of like constrained. I had clients calling me at work, like saying, "Hey, you need to fix my policies." I had leads that were coming in. I had to figure out how to like get better leads. I had to figure out some phone systems. I had to figure out a CRM. I had to figure out customer service problems, and it all kind of just started to mount up. And I was like, "What am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do?" So I go to my mentor, who was kind of guiding me, and I was doing well. I was really young. I was making good money. I just bought a house. I'm like, why would I make this decision? But my goal was it's to build a business, not to like work for someone else. And, was a crazy mistake. I mean, it was just so bad in the beginning, which I'll talk about, but I go to him. I remember having that last restless night of sleep, just tossing and turning, knowing that I have to make this decision, because I was a top sales guy at my tree removal company. I was managing about 25 employees. We had contractors. I was a big role in this position. They just bought me a new car. And I also had a mentor who really respected me. I respected him. And we were kind of like, he leaned on me, I leaned on him, and we had a really good relationship. But I kept thinking about the decision that I made and why I didn't want to stick that through. It's because I knew that one day, if I was 80, 85, I would have regretted not making the decision. And I kept on listening to what Alex Hormozy and Layla talk about. You were just one decision, one hard conversation away from a breakthrough. And I kept on playing that in my mind, and I would have this sleepless night. I remember being so scared. I woke up like 3 a.m. I was like, I can't sleep. And I had a full day of work, and then it was like a Friday, and I met Mike at a bar, and we used to typically go to a bar after, have a few drinks, celebrate the week. And this was different. We actually went to Panera. And I was like, hey man, my goal is to get into life insurance. I want to own this business. And of course, he was like, trying to, tell me like, hey, it's probably not going to work. You need to think about just chargeback. It's a lot harder. You're not just going to go in there. Like, there's a side of the business that you're not seeing yet. You're just seeing the glamorous side. I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out. So after having that hard conversation, I returned the car back to the shop. I drove to my house, and now it was time to get to work. And I quit everything and started selling life insurance. That next day at 8 o'clock, I was getting up, I was calling leads, and for the first 10 months, you guys look at the channel now. You look at what I've gone through and all, and my business now, we've done over $8 million in sales. And you see like, man, you pulled it off. But no, for the first 10 months, I didn't pull anything off. I made a ton of sales. I learned how to sell. I learned how to make six figures, sure. But I worked every single day for the first 3 to 5 months, Monday through Sunday, trying to figure this out. And it was the hardest thing that I ever have gone through. The mistakes that I made, the trials that I had to go through, the chargebacks, the gut punch. And I didn't have mentorship in the beginning. And the biggest mistake that I made is that I didn't have someone that I could join the agency with and be like, hey, here's my goals. Can you help me get there? Here's what I'm looking for. Can you get me there? And I was doing the business with so many people, and so many people were quitting around me. So many people were getting started, getting licenses, making sales, and they just were like quitting. So I kept on finally asking the question, like, why are people quitting? And all these people were making supposedly $40,000 in sales. Why are they quitting? And it's because I realized that most people weren't actually making money. Most life insurance agent in this industry were seeing the fancy numbers, and they were being told, if you quit, you're a loser. If you told, you're a failure. Keep buying leads. And I started to feel weird because I couldn't recruit my brother into this business, and I couldn't recruit anybody else. And I almost quit in this business because I was like, if I can't grow and scale, if I don't feel comfortable, even though I'm doing well for myself, and I don't feel ethical with the current IMO that I'm doing, if I can't feel like I can help people, then why am I doing this? So what I decided to do is I started to speak out about it. So I went to all these, like, the conferences, and I was like, what is going on? Let me see your bank account. People were broke around me, but they were flexing. I was like, what is going on? So sure enough, I realized that the industry was broken, that I was being told lies. And I quit my 9-to-5 job. I quit this to get into an industry that completely lied to me and was broken. And I had no one to turn to. And that's when I started documenting this journey on YouTube of like, what was it actually like being a life insurance agent? So if you're looking to go into this business, if you want to be the business owner and start selling final expense life insurance, the biggest advice that I give to you is that you make sure that you find someone that can align with where your goals are, and someone who actually has evidence and proof and real guidance and real systems on how to make money. The amount of people that say, I quit and I'm going into final expense, and then they're like, I don't know how to generate leads, or I don't know how to, I don't know how to make sales. I'm thinking to myself, you are never going to make it, because you need to have previous skills of being a business owner if you want to go into the final expense business, because most businesses are MLM companies. Secondly, research the teams and the people that you're going to partner and give up everything before you start. Start making some sales part-time. Start putting some evidence under your tool belt. Don't just quit, get sold this dream, and go all in. The amount of stories of people that have been like, man, I was a doctor for 22 years and I got into life insurance, or I was in real estate for 17 years, I got into life insurance, or I was in solar, I got into life insurance, and they're like, man, I'm flat broke now. It's appalling. Because the truth about the industry is that it is broken. People don't want you to win. Most MLM companies are out there to get you to take your money, to drain your bank account, to have you recruit people, and to not actually have you make money by selling life insurance and helping people. And that was the biggest mistake that took me so long to realize. And I started to speak out about it, and I actually got a cease and desist. I started to talk to people around me, and they were like, I'm going to sue you if you bring this out. And I had these people who were right by my side in the business in the beginning. And when I started to realize the truth, they just started to be like, you are not allowed to talk to people. You can't DM my agents. And it was a complete joke. So if you are going in final expense, it's an incredible industry. The amount of impact, number one, that you can have in this broken industry. You can help seniors who are on fixed incomes. You can actually sell good products. You can feel good about yourself, but it's all about the team and the people that you surround yourself with. It's all about the leadership that actually helps you, because everyone around you is going to say, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you, but they truly don't have your best interest at heart. And it's really important to see, where are your leaders aligned? Where is their skin in the game? Is their skin in the game making you buy leads? Is their skin in the game ultimately training you? Do they have to train you? Do they want to train you? Are they in the game, in the trenches with you? Are they actually training you every single day? Because they're not, they're just making money off of you. So before you make that 9-to-5 leap, make sure you have the right people in your corner. Don't look at what they say, look at what they do. Look at where the money is. They are going to follow where the money is. Are they training you? Are they investing in you? Are they giving you leads? Are they giving you high qualified leads? Are they giving you good systems or CRMs? Or are they telling you to buy stuff? Huge red flag. And the last thing I want to share with you is that if you are making this jump and you're going to build your business, you have to make the decision. Are you going to build a business where inside of this business, you're going to have to learn how to market, recruit talent, train talent, have systems in place, how to retain clients, how to get leads, how to get clients? Or are you going to go after a final expense opportunity where you can be more of an employee, where you can work inside of a company, where you can be a manager, where you can have the systems and process in place? It's all a trade-off. But make sure wherever you go to do this, to make the decision, is that you have the structure and support around you. This business can change your life. It changed my life. I didn't have a degree. I had a little business before. I had no direction where I wanted to go. But ultimately, through the heart of having my insurance license, I can now have a skill that will forever feed my family because I can buy leads. I can get leads for people who have a need, which is I'm going to die and my burial expenses are not taken care of. I can market to those people. I can pick up the phone with the script. I have access to products and I can sell them final expense life insurance, and I can make commissions every single day. So through the hard and through the pain, I have now developed a skill that I never thought I would ever learn. I don't know how this even fell into my lap, but through this process can provide for my family abundantly. And if you want to go through, if you want to make money, if you want to earn six figures, you can do it selling final expense. If you want to provide for your family, you can do it selling final expense. If you want to be able to, have a great life and help people and serve people, you can do it through final expense. It's a beautiful industry if you can do it the right way and have the right people around you. But it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of discipline, and ultimately you need to have the right people in your corner that are going to support you. So that is my story on how I left a 9-to-5 job. The trials, the figuring it out, the mistakes, the errors, the advice that I'd give to you again if I were to do it differently, and ultimately how you can make money as a life insurance agent. It's a huge opportunity. What can you do where you can get leads, call people in your comfort of your home, sell a product that's invisible, and watch your bank account grow? But you have to have good mentorship. You got to have that structure around you. So that is my story on how I left a 9-to-5 job, made the decision to go all in, and change my life. And thankfully, by the grace of God, we've been able to scale, build an agency, have tons of mistakes, and ultimately do millions and millions of dollars of sales, every few months as a life insurance agency. So this is my story. I'm going to continue to document where I was, where I'm going, and where we're going to go future to make sure we can change lives. Love you guys. Have a blessed day.